It's day 12 of the Jesse Tree, and today we're looking at Gideon. And you can find the story of Gideon in the book of Judges, especially in chapters 6 and 7. Let's begin. God's people kept disobeying his rules, so God allowed their enemies to take all their food away. Again, the Israelites turned to God for help. Again, God answered their prayers. God chose a man named Gideon to help his people. God sent an angel to Gideon. "You are a mighty warrior," said the angel. "You will save God's people." Gideon said, "But I'm from a family that isn't rich or important." Then Gideon prayed to God, "I need a sign for you. I will put some wool on the floor. Tomorrow, if the wool is wet and the ground is dry, I will believe you." The next morning the wool was wet and the ground was dry. But Gideon wanted another sign. He said to God, "Now if the wool is dry and the ground is wet, I will be sure you have chosen me." And the next morning God made the wool dry and the ground wet. Now Gideon was sure. He said, "God, I will do whatever you say." And we have a fleece here. Yep, it's right here. You like it? Imagine this hitting the ground and all the ground is wet, and you would think this would be soaked, but this is dry and everything else is wet. And the next day, quite the opposite. This would be soaking, but the ground is all dry where you would expect the dew to be. Confirmation. Is it unbelief to ask God to make sure? Well, he knows what your heart is, what you're doing. So I've been there. I've asked God to confirm the things that he's told me to do, and wow, did he ever confirm it. So God is still moving with people. He's still calling people to follow him, and he's still raising up disciples of Jesus Christ. God, I will do whatever you say. I hope you can say that too. Over 30,000 men wanted to join Gideon's army. "That is too many," God said. He showed Gideon how to win with only 300 men. Well, that's a big difference between 30,000 and 300.
Yes.
The plan sounded strange, but Gideon trusted God. During the night, Gideon and his men surrounded the camp, and they blew trumpets, and they smashed clay jars. They waved burning torches in the air. Their enemies were frightened. "This must be a huge army," they thought, so they ran away. For the Lord and Gideon! Get up! Lord Gideon! Beautiful story. Gideon would have been the first king of Israel. They wanted to make him that. But Gideon knew that God was the king of Israel. Why would he do that? Other men that would come later on, it wouldn't be the same. But Gideon turned down that honor, but he did serve God as God's man. What a blessing. And now it's time for the Jesse Tree. And today's ornament is a jar, because Gideon's army, they had jars, clay jars, and they had their torches up here. We have torches, right? We have modern day torches. Well, in England they call them a torch. We call it a flashlight. They had torches, and they're spread out. It looked like lots of people there, and they blew their horns. There you go. So they blew their horns. They had their lights all over the place, their torches, and then they threw down their cups, and they broke. So what they threw down was the clay jar. The clay jar is the symbol that we have for the story of Gideon as we move closer to Jesus coming again. You want to put it up on the Jesse Tree? You sit right there.
Good job.
There it is. Everybody say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Happy Jesus' birthday! I get to read Happy Jesus' birthday!
For the Lord and Gideon!